Hello everyone, I am Demented Kirby and welcome to my channel, the Commander Tavern. The Commander Tavern is a channel dedicated to my favorite Magic the Gathering format. Before continuing with this video, I just want to express my gratitude and appreciation to everyone because I finally reached 1,000 subscribers the other day. I had already uploaded a video Saturday, so I wasn't able to give thanks in it. So I want to take this moment to do so. So thanks. Your support is definitely greatly appreciated. Barkeep Upkeep is a series where I wish to open the floor up for discussion about certain topics that come up in Commander. I would like to involve more Commander players to these discussions and hopefully have the comment sections of these videos become a sort of open forum where everyone can be involved in these discussions. If you'd like to support the Commander Tavern, you can do so by purchasing your cards through my TCG Player affiliate link found in the description below. Other ways you can help support the channel is with my Patreon. Patrons get early access to scheduled videos on YouTube, and higher tier patrons get access to my Discord server as well. You can find a link to that down in the description as well. In fact, patrons got a chance to see this video earlier. Additionally, patrons got an exclusive behind the scenes post as appreciation for the 1,000 YouTube subscribers. Alright, let's get back to the episode. The year is coming to a close, and while many might be reminiscing about things past, I want to deviate a bit from the norm and make predictions about 2020. 2020 is the year of Commander, which is quite serendipitous because it's also the year of the rat, and I myself am a rat, so I'm even more psyched for it. Therefore, in this final episode of 2019, I will share my predictions as well as hopes for the upcoming year. Please share your own predictions and hopes in the comment section. Let's start with Theros Beyond Death. I had high hopes for this set, but so far, as of the recording of this video, I haven't liked the legendary creatures spoiled so far except for Gallia of the Endless Dance. However, since she's a lord, she's more conducive to a tribal deck. Since there are more cards to be spoiled, there are no doubt more cards in the set supporting a Satyr tribal deck. So I'm definitely doing an episode of The Brewery on Gallia once all cards have been spoiled, so stay tuned. Since there are still a ton more of cards yet to be revealed, there could yet be some more Commander gems there. Once the set is completely spoiled, I will definitely also make an episode of a flight for it. However, I still predict the possibility of great things there. Take the Binding of the Titans. Maybe there's a giant tribal theme in the set similar to Lorwyn Shadowmoor block or Throne of Eldraine. There were a couple of Giant Matters cards in Throne of Eldraine like Realm Clone Giant, so maybe there's a possibility that these were just support cards for the future set. Like the cycle of high devotion creatures in Throne of Eldraine that have a quadruple hybrid mana cost. However, it's also possible that the Titans being referenced are a previous generation of gods that were imprisoned and or forgotten, like the 3 insectoid gods from Amonkhet. Since Titans were the old gods imprisoned in the underworld by the new gods after the Titanomachy, for those unfamiliar, the Titanomachy was the battle between Zeus and the other Olympians against the Titans. It's quite possible that Klothys, god of destiny, is one of these Titans. Xenagos was considered a usurper since he ascended into godhood, taking Klothys' place in the pantheon in Nyx. However, maybe Heliod feared this ascension because then he might be banished to the underworld prison like Klothys was. That would go with the story since Heliod is slightly based off of Zeus, who was the leader of the Olympians that imprisoned the Titans. Unfortunately, there won't be an ebook for Theros Beyond Death nor any weekly story updates, so we'll have to depend on the cards and their flavor text. As for Elspeth and her voyage through the underworld back to Nyx, I don't think she'll meet Gideon there. Although maybe Gideon went to the underworld after he died since he was native to Theros. Remember that he dies on Ravnica and not Theros. However, Heartwarming Redemption shows Gideon with what is potentially the crew that died, causing his spark to ignite. If that's to be believed, then he's probably in Elysia, the part of the underworld where those who died as heroes are permitted to dwell. So it's possible that anyone who dies on Theros goes to the underworld as part of the aspects of the plane, but maybe any planeswalkers native to Theros also go there regardless of where they are in the multiverse when they die. Another reason she might not find Gideon there is because we don't know when this happens in the story. Is this before War of the Spark? Ashok helped bring an end to Nicol Bolas, but wasn't it in Theros spreading and feeding off of nightmares also? If it's before War of the Spark, then obviously Gideon won't be there either. Since the first Theros block also had a hero theme, I'm hoping there's a 10th challenge for the Hero's Path, a series of special events that span throughout most of the events for Theros. The previous 9 challenges included 3 challenge decks that I loved and still love playing against, whether by myself or with other teammates. Additionally, completing each path gave players a hero card as a prize for completing them. I love these cards and I have them all in my Commander cube. I also use these cards when playing Arch Enemy with Commander as well as other variants. They just provide a different dimension to the game that I love. So hopefully Wizards continues with Elspeth's hero's path culminating in destroying Heliod like she did Xenagos. and that way we get a challenge deck as well as hero cards for it. Alright, so to summarize my predictions for Theros Beyond Death. Klothys is one of the original generation of gods that were imprisoned in the Otherworld by Heliod and other gods currently in Nyx. Elspeth will not find Gideon in the Otherworld, but she might meet up with Ajani later on. Or maybe she goes back to New Phyrexia with some newfound powers and meets Ajani there with the rest of the Gatewatch as well as Karn in order to finally eliminate the Phyrexians once and for all. A 10th challenge where we can get new hero cards as well as a 4th challenge deck. Unsanctioned was hinted by Gavin Verhey to be directed towards Commander players and Cube players, so it's quite possible that there will be silver bordered legendary creatures in this product. However, since the cards are going to be monocolored, these potential commanders might be monocolored as well. However, that doesn't mean that they won't have colored costs in their text box, like Kenrith the Returned King. Kenrith is a white card, but it has a Wooburg color identity. I don't think they're going to use new slots for contraptions, so I don't think there will be a legendary ringer in the product. That would be amazing so that I can build a commander deck based on assembling contraptions. I also don't think they'll have a new host and augment creatures since there might not be enough room to support them. As for how this product can help with cubes, maybe it contains new cards similar to Booster Tutor and Summon the Pack. Maybe it contains new wishes that are designed to look through the remaining pool of cards not drafted in a cube. However, if that were the case, that wouldn't really align with how the product was designed. You're supposed to take 2 half decks to make a whole deck. Also, how many slots of new cards would be devoted to cube mechanics? Not counting basic lands, I don't know how many reprints there might be, but they'll probably be from Unglued and Unhinged. So it remains to see what they are. Maybe with the release of Unsanctioned, the support for Commander comes in the form of a rules update on February 29th, 2020, where the only silver bordered cards indefinitely legal for Commander are the legendary creatures and the Grand Calcutron. They might have to ban some of the more broken and ridiculous ones, but that wouldn't be too difficult to follow. I don't want to get too excited for this product until I see all of its contents spoiled in February. So here's my rundown for Unsanctioned. No contraptions, no host augment creatures. Silver bordered legendary creatures and the Grand Calcutron are legal for Commander. Cube support cards that let you wish for packs or single cards from the card pool. As for Ikoria Lair of Behemoths, the possibilities are pretty much anything goes at this point. However, Meld was a mechanic that will not be used in Ikoria, nor will host augment. It's said to be something else. It's going to be the most complicated mechanic designed in quite some time. More complicated than any of those things and possibly even contraptions. However, what I do predict for Ikoria is that we got a spoiler for it thanks to Optimus Prime Inspiring Leader. This Heroes of the Realm promo is actually a 3-sided card, where the other 2 sides are for the Transformers TCG. In this TCG, there are 3-sided cards called Triple Changers. You can see an example of how these cards work in a video on the Transformers TCG account on Twitter, as you can see here. This is what I think might happen with Ikoria. Another thing that might happen on Ikoria can also be taken from the Transformers TCG and their combinations like Superion. This is also similar to what Yu-Gi-Oh! Did with Exodia way back in the day. Unfortunately, I don't know how they go about it, but I predict that it might be something like these ones mentioned. As for the commanders, since there's only one set for Ikoria, these commander products might each showcase one mechanic from the set in order to be able to build a commander around it. It has been expressed that there isn't a viable commander for a deck built around this energy mechanic. You also can't build a deck devoted to the adventure mechanic. So whatever new mechanics are developed for Ikoria, chances are that there are 5 main ones and the commander products will provide support enough for a dedicated deck, similar to the Commander 2019 decks dedicated to Populate, Madness, Flashback, and Morph. Thus, my predictions for Ikoria Lair of Behemoths are triple-sided cards, cards that combine into a composite object without using the Meld mechanic, and Commander precons dedicated to the new mechanics in the main set. Core 2021 will probably be like Core 2020. One of the reasons that set was successful was thanks to all the goodies for Commander players. If that's the case, maybe Core Set 2021 will follow suit, especially since next year is practically the year for Commander. Since Core Set 2020 had a cycle of wedge-colored legendary creatures, Core Set 2021 might have a cycle of shard-colored legendary creatures. We already know it will feature Teferi, similarly to how Chandra was the face planeswalker for Core Set 2020. I doubt phasing will make a comeback to standard, since that mechanic isn't ideal for new players to learn, especially since the core sets are meant to attract new players. But maybe there will be some other time magic elements present in the deck, like Suspend and Rebound. Teferi will probably get like 4 different Planeswalker cards as well, possibly a card just for his Planeswalker type, like Chandra's Regulator. Apart from the ley lines, enemy temples, and Goblin Ringleader, Core Set 2020 didn't provide any decent reprints either, so that might be the case with 2021. The new legendary creatures as well as new choice cards for Commander players is what will probably move this set as successfully as 2020. So my predictions are 4 new Teferi Planeswalker cards and a card that cares about the Teferi Planeswalker type, no decent reprints, and 5 shard-colored legendary creatures. It's already been confirmed that Zendikar Rising will not include fetch lands. I don't know why, because if it was due to Pioneer, then they could have just banned them from Pioneer upon release. By then, Return to Ravnica would have rotated out, so no dual land types to take advantage of them would have been in Standard anyways. But I digress. It remains to be seen what Zendikar 3.0 will contain that will make players want to buy cases of it. Since the premise is to explore a Zendikar without Eldrazi, maybe we'll see trap cards again. We'll probably also see more involvement with what the Royal is and how the land is so good for animating, so potentially a lot of Royal manipulation, geomancy, and animists as well. Since there's no Eldrazi, then maybe there won't be any allies but probably scouts instead, so a potential Goblin Guide reprint, or maybe it might be something as simple as more creatures with adventure, since Throne of Eldraine will still be standard legal when Zendikar Rising comes out. Without the Eldrazi, maybe the remaining factions on Zendikar like the Merfolk, Elves, and Vampires might come into conflict. Maybe when dealing with nosy explorers or with the exploration being done by themselves. However, this seems too similar to what happened on Ixalan, where you had a conflict between 4 factions concerning the Lost City. Still, recycling ideas isn't something foreign to Wizards, so they might do that once more. If they do go this exploration route, maybe double-sided cards that transform into a land will return, especially since those lands have a map-like template and you can't go exploring ruins and dungeons without a map. Now this one is a true shot in the dark, but with Wizards also owning Dungeons & Dragons, maybe there will be a new card type called Dungeon, where it's like a level card. It changes modes depending on what's done during the game, or a quest type card as well. That's something different that I'd really like to see explored, no pun intended. Or maybe we get another board game type supplemental product like Explorers of Ixalan, where you can explore a cardboard grid made up of hexagonal pieces. So I'm going to go a bit risky and really go off the deep end with my predictions for Zendikar Rising. It is fitting after all, considering the theme of the set. Returning mechanics like the Trap subtype, Creatures with Adventure, and double-faced land cards. A new card type that changes what it does as the game progresses. And a supplementary product similar to Explorers of Ixalan. For Commander Collection Green, I just hope Wizards understands that no common card should cost more than $1 and actually reprint 3 visits in it. They've already reprinted a whole bunch of expensive cards from Portal 3 Kingdoms. There's no reason for this common functional reprint of Nature's Lore to cost so much. I don't expect reprints of Tooth and Nail, Critterhoof Behemoth, or other expensive rares or mythics, but reprinting a Chase common could move the product without having to reprint rares in it. Besides, this is going to be like a spellbook booster, so for all effects and purposes, the rarity of these reprints is negligible. There will exist an equal amount of every card in the booster. So hurry up and reprint 3 visits. That is all. Saving the best for last, we have Commander Legends, and oh boy do I have a lot of expectations for this. 70 new cards, plenty of reprints all with Commander in mind, 20 card booster packs, a draft experience. It's quite a lot to take in. However, here's a list of reprints I predict won't be included in Commander Legends since they're going to already be available in mystery boosters. Mana Crypt, Bloom Tender, Teferi's Protection, Expropriate, Rhystic Study, Carpet of Flowers, Aura Shards, Thought Vessel, Mishra's Bauble, Chromatic Star, and Manamorphose. Since they are already available in mystery boosters, I doubt they'll be reprinted. Now my wishlist reprint list is just a bunch of commons and uncommons Wizards has no reason not reprinting. If they publicly and officially don't acknowledge the secondary market, then why not reprint choice commons and uncommons? For all effects and purposes, each common and uncommon has the rarity they have because of how they affect limited and constructed, and not because of how much it'll cost a player to buy them. Therefore, I hope Wizards reprints these cards in Commander Legends. Forest Bearer, Oubliette, Darkness, Mystic Remora, Shadowborn Apostle, Fyndhorn Elves, Loyal Retainers, Cabal Coffers, Personal Tutor, and Sterling Grove. If there were a rare card that could be reprinted, that would probably be the Dalkin Orrery, probably just so Josh Lee Kwai can pull a Maui and give us, what can I say except you're welcome, for it, since he did have a part in playtesting it. Besides reprints and new commanders, I feel like this set will also have some Draft Matters cards like in Conspiracy sets. Maybe these cards help balance out the draft experience since commander decks need to follow color identity as well as deck size. So there is a possibility that these cards change deck building rules like some conspiracies do, such as Advantageous Proclamation, reducing your minimum deck size by 5. Some conspiracies like Power Play make you start the game. Others give you a benefit in exchange for a detriment like Hymn of the Wilds and Sovereign's Realm. So maybe these conspiracies can do things like allow you to have any 2 commanders in the command zone as partners even if they didn't have partner. Speaking of which, maybe there will be more partner commanders that are just plain partners and not partner with so-and-so. Or if they did have partner, maybe it's partner with this card, and that card isn't a creature or a planeswalker. Maybe it partners with a legendary artifact that's a signature artifact of that character, or maybe it's a legendary enchantment, instant, or sorcery that's a signature spell to that commander. Think of Gideon Blackblade having the text partners with Blackblade Reforged, or something similar. Maybe there's a conspiracy like Paliano the High City, where a color is chosen while it's drafted, and that's a color added to your commander's color identity. Maybe there's a conspiracy that will let you play any legendary non-land permanent as your commander like an artifact, enchantment, or planeswalker. There could also be a conspiracy that lets you use a non-legendary creature as your commander. Since these are conspiracies, they wouldn't break the format because conspiracies are banned in Commander. You can only use them when in a queue. Since this is a set made for drafting, the card pool is controlled and very small when compared to the full Commander card pool. That means that there won't be any broken cards in the set to take advantage of any of these conspiracies. Similarly, since they're conspiracies, you can't use them in Constructed, which is how Commander is played outside of this draft experience anyways. This would solve a lot of problems while also keeping the format relatively unchanged. Cards like these will also make it easier for cubists to construct cubes with only official Magic cards instead of having to design their own cards to make it work. As for the possible commanders, creatures, and planeswalkers are a given, but I'm predicting that there might be 1 or 2 legendary artifacts or enchantments that have the "this card can be your commander" on it. This already has a precedent in the Grand Calcutron and the Legend of Arena. You can't see it on the card itself, but the Grand Calcutron has an official errata stating that you can use it as its commander. But the Nephilim still haven't gotten that errata, which has obviously no effect in any other format except for Commander, which is the only format in which players want it, but who knows how Wizards works. Although there's going to be 70 new cards, hopefully 5 of those slots can be used to finally complete the Lair Mega Cycle. So far, only the 5 Primeval Dragons from Dominaria have a lair, but the Planar Chaos Dragons, which are supposed to represent alternate dimension versions of those, didn't get their lair. Allied and Shard colored decks have too much support compared to enemy and wedge colored decks, especially in the mana department. This would definitely be a way to help. Or maybe enemy colored filtered lands completing the Odyssey Mega Cycle. So hopefully, since the point is to have a balanced experience when drafting, that these lands start getting printed. Oh, and since these booster packs have 20 cards, prepare to pay a pretty penny for each booster. I'm guessing $5 to $6 per booster because of the popularity of the format as well. Since this set will sell itself, I also doubt any major high-end reprints in it. In summation, my predictions for Commander Legends are: Draft Matters cards like Conspiracies in order to iron out any kinks when drafting in Commander. Nothing reprinted in Mystery Boosters will be reprinted in Commander Legends. There will be legendary non-land permanents besides creatures and planeswalkers that can be your commander. More commanders with partner. And more mega cycles for lands will be completed. To all the viewers who stayed on until the end, what expectations do you have for Commander in 2020? What hopes and fears do you have for upcoming sets and products? Do you think there to be any major rules changes? What about bans and unbans? I encourage everyone watching to leave comments down below. Any well thought out comments are welcomed and encouraged. I would like to thank all my patrons for supporting me, and a quick shout out to all my higher tier patrons, the Brewers, for their patronage. I'd also like to thank anyone using my TCG Player affiliate link. That also helps out the channel. And to everyone, thanks for watching this episode of Barkeep Upkeep on the Commander Tavern. I am Demented Kirby, and thanks for listening.